You know what separates the ones who live with purpose from the ones who drift through life? It's a question. Just one question. Most people never ask it, or they ask it once and never sit long enough to hear the answer. The question is this: why am I here? Not why do I exist? Not why was I born in this family? Not why did this happen to me? But why am I here right now at this exact moment in time? Because that question will change everything. The problem is, most people don't like questions that make them uncomfortable. They don't like silence. They don't like to dig deep. Because when you dig deep, you have to face the truth. And the truth is, you've been living on autopilot. You've been moving so fast that you've confused activity with purpose. Just because you're busy doesn't mean you're going somewhere that matters. Just because the calendar is full doesn't mean the soul is satisfied. And that's why this question is dangerous to the life you've been settling for. Because when you really ask it, when you really sit with it, you'll start to see the cracks in the life you thought you wanted. You'll realize you've been living for applause instead of impact. You'll realize you've been chasing things that don't fulfill you, buying things you don't need, impressing people who don't care. And when that realization hits, you can't unsee it. So I'm asking you right now, when was the last time you stopped and asked yourself that question? When was the last time you paused everything, turned off the noise, and looked yourself in the mirror and said, why am I here? Because that's not a casual question. That's a question that demands an answer. But here's the hard truth. Most people are too afraid to ask because they're scared of the answer. They're scared it will mean changing everything. Scared it will mean letting go of some people. Scared it will mean stepping out of comfort. But let me tell you something. Comfort is a liar. Comfort will rock you to sleep and whisper, you're okay where you are. Comfort will make you believe you've got time when you don't. You weren't born for comfort. You were born for greatness. You were born to stand out, to lead, to build, to create something that outlives you. But you'll never step into that until you start asking the right question. Because the quality of your life will always come down to the quality of your questions. And this question, is the key that unlocks everything else. Why am I here? Ask it until it hurts. Ask it until the excuses stop. Ask it until you can't sleep without writing something down. Ask it until the vision starts to burn inside you so strong that nothing can put it out. Because if you don't ask it, life will answer for you. And you know what life says to those who don't ask? Do what everyone else is doing. Play it safe. Stay small. Be quiet. And before you know it, you're at the end of your life looking back, wishing you had been brave enough to live your truth instead of their expectations. I don't want that for you. I want you to wake up. I want you to grab this moment right now and say, no more autopilot. No more sleepwalking. No more living a life that doesn't fit me. This is your time to find the answer. This is your time to live it. And when you do, everything changes. Your energy changes. Your decisions change. The way you walk into a room changes. Because when you know why you're here, you stop apologizing for it. You stop waiting for permission. You start living bold. So I'll ask you one more time, and this time I want you to feel it deep. Why are you here? Think about that. Really think about it. And if that question moves something inside you, if it makes you sit up straighter, if it makes your heart beat a little faster, then you're closer than you think. You know what keeps more people from living their purpose than anything else? It's not lack of talent. It's not lack of resources. It's not even fear of failure. It's the weight of expectations. The invisible chains of what everybody else thinks you should be, how they think you should live, what they believe you should settle for. Those chains are heavy. And the sad part is most people wear them so long they start to believe they're jewelry. They start to think that's who they really are. From the moment you were born, voices started talking. Parents, teachers, friends, society, they all had an opinion. They told you what was realistic, what was safe, what was acceptable, and they didn't mean harm. They thought they were protecting you. But let me tell you something, a cage is still a cage, even if the bars are made of love. And some of you have been living in that cage for years. You went after a career you didn't want because it sounded good to them. You stayed in circles that drained you because walking away would make you look ungrateful. You smiled in pictures for a life you didn't even like because you were terrified of what people would say if you told the truth. That's what expectations do. They box you in. They make you play small so someone else feels comfortable. But listen to me, purpose and comfort will never hold hands. And the day you decide to break free from those expectations, some people won't like it. They'll talk. They'll criticize. They'll call you crazy. You know why? Because the moment you step out of the box, you remind them that they're still in one. And that scares them. But you can't live your life for applause. You can't shrink so others feel big. You can't dim your light because they can't handle the brightness. You weren't born to blend in. You were born to stand out. And standing out will cost you. It will cost you, people. It will cost you approval. It will cost you being misunderstood. But you know what it will give you? Freedom. And freedom is worth every loss. Freedom is when you can wake up every day and know you're living true to yourself. Freedom is when you can look in the mirror and say, I'm proud of the person looking back. Freedom is when your choices aren't dictated by their opinions, but by your convictions. That's real wealth. That's real success. Some of you are carrying so much weight right now, and it's not even yours to carry. It's the weight of their expectations, their fears, their dreams they didn't have the courage to chase. They handed you their baggage and said, here, carry this. And you've been dragging it for years. No wonder you're tired. No wonder you feel stuck. It's time to put it down. Because here's the truth. If you keep living for them, you'll die never knowing who you really were. And that's the greatest tragedy. Not that you didn't make them proud, but that you never got to meet the person you were born to be. So what do? You break the chains. You stop asking for permission. You stop waiting for approval. And you make peace with this. When you choose purpose over expectation, some doors will close, but the right ones will open. The ones that were meant for you, the ones that lead to the life you were created to live. Don't you dare waste another day living a life that doesn't fit you. Don't you dare trade your authenticity for acceptance. Don't you dare let their voice be louder than the one inside of you. This is your life, your time, your story. And it's too valuable to be written by somebody else. ChatGPT said, you know what most people try to run from their entire life? Pain, struggle, failure. We've been taught to avoid it, to hide it, to pretend like it never happened. But let me tell you something. Pain is not your enemy. Struggle is not your curse. Failure is not the end. Those are the very things that shape you, the very things that prepare you for the life you were born to live. Think about it. Every time you've been knocked down, every time you've cried alone, every time you thought you couldn't take one more step, you survived. You're still here. And because you survived, you're stronger than you were before. You learned something, you gained something. You didn't see it then, but that pain was making you into somebody you couldn't become any other way. Everybody wants the prize, but nobody wants the process. Everybody wants success, but nobody wants the scars. But the scars tell the story. They tell you that you fought, that you bled, that you refused to quit. And if you look at the greatest moments of growth in your life, they didn't come when everything was easy. They came when everything was falling apart and you had to make a choice, stay down or rise up. Some of you right now are in the middle of something that hurts so bad you can't even breathe. You're asking, why me? Why now? And you can't see it yet. But one day you're going to look back and say, if it wasn't for that storm, I wouldn't be this strong. If it wasn't for that pain, I wouldn't be this person. The very thing you think is breaking you is building you. Failure. That's another thing we run from. We treat failure like a death sentence, like it's the end of the road. But failure is not the opposite of success. It's the foundation of it. You don't fail because you're weak. You fail because you tried. You had the courage to move. And every failure is a teacher. It shows you what works and what doesn't. It points you in a new direction. It humbles you, sharpens you, grows you. And listen, everybody you admire, everybody you think has it all together, they've all failed. The only difference between them and the ones who quit is that they didn't stop. They didn't let failure define them. They let it refine them. Don't ever let anybody tell you that struggle disqualifies you. No, struggle qualifies you. It proves you can endure. It proves you can rise. It proves you can walk through fire and come out stronger on the other side. That's why you can't run from it. You've got to face it. You've got to embrace it. Because the truth is, the deeper the valley, the greater the view when you climb out. But here's the question. What will you do with your pain? Will you let it make you bitter? Or will you let it make you better? Will you let failure break your spirit? Or will you let it fuel your fire? Because the choice is yours. Nobody can make it for you. So if you're hurting right now, if you're standing in the middle of a mess you didn't see coming, I want you to hear me. This is not the end. This is not where your story stops. This is the chapter that makes the ending worth reading. This is the part that will inspire someone else one day. Because when you come out of this, and you won't just survive, you'll shine. ChatGPT said fear. That word alone has stopped more dreams than failure ever could. Fear is powerful because it doesn't have to be real to control you. It just has to be loud enough. And for too many people, fear has been screaming in their ears for years and they've been listening. Fear says, what if you fail? Fear says, what will they think? Fear says, you're not ready, you're not enough, and you believed it. But let me ask you something. How many opportunities have you lost because you were afraid? How many times did you know what you wanted, but you froze? How many times did you talk yourself out of the very thing that could have changed everything? Fear will do that to you. It will rob you of the life you were born to live, and it won't even have to touch you. It just has to convince you to stop moving. Fear disguises itself as logic. It sounds reasonable. It sounds safe. Wait until you're ready. What if it doesn't work? But here's the truth. You'll never be ready. You'll never have all the answers. And nothing worth having is guaranteed. So if you're waiting for the fear to disappear before you move, you'll be waiting for the rest of your life. I need you to understand something. Fear is a liar. It's a thief. And its only job is to keep you in the same place, living the same life, repeating the same story. You know why? Because fear knows what happens if you ever break free. Fear knows what happens if you ever step into your calling. You become unstoppable, and fear can't handle that. But here's the good news. Fear only wins if you let it. It only wins if you stop moving. Because fear hates action, it hates progress. Every time you take a step forward, fear loses its grip. Every time you speak when fear tells you to be silent, you weaken its power. Every time you dare to do the thing that scares you, you remind fear that it doesn't own you. You can't eliminate fear. You can't kill it. But you can make a decision that fear will ride in the car, but it will never touch the wheel. It will never decide your destination. You might feel afraid, but you move anyway, because courage is not the absence of fear. It's moving in spite of it. Some of you have dreams that have been sitting on the shelf for years because of fear. You've been waiting for the perfect moment, but the perfect moment doesn't exist. You've been waiting for the fear to leave, but it's not going anywhere. So what are you going to do? Sit there and let fear write your story, or stand up and take the pen back. The life you want is on the other side of fear. Everything you've been praying for, hoping for, dreaming of, it's waiting for you to take the step that fear told you not to take. That business, that book, that song, that relationship, that new life, it's all on the other side. And the only way to get there is to walk through it, not around it. Through it. I'm not saying it's easy. It's not. You're going to shake. Your voice might tremble. Your knees might feel weak, but you move anyway. You move because your purpose is bigger than your fear. You move because your destiny is worth the risk. You move because fear might be loud, but it will never be louder than the voice inside you saying, this is your time. So now I want you to ask yourself, what would your life look like if fear wasn't in control? What could you do? Who could you become? And most importantly, are you ready to find out? ChatGPT said everybody in this room has something inside of them that nobody else has. Something unique, something powerful, something the world needs. And the tragedy is most people will go to their grave with that gift still locked inside. Not because they didn't have it, but because they never opened it. They buried it under fear, under doubt, under excuses, under the noise of what everyone else wanted them to be. I want you to think about this for a second there. Is something you can do, something you can bring to this world that no one else can do the way you can. And if you don't do it, it will never exist. It will die with you. That's how valuable you are. That's how much you matter. But here's the problem. We spend so much of our lives comparing. Looking left, looking right, scrolling through everyone else's highlight reel, wondering why we don't have what they have, why we don't look like them, sound like them, live like them. And every time you compare, you kill a piece of your gift, because your gift doesn't live in imitation. It lives in authenticity. It lives in your truth, your story, your struggle, your voice. You've got to stop asking, what do they have that I don't? And start asking, what do I have that nobody else does? Because I promise you this, if you take the time to look, you'll find it. It might not look flashy. It might not look like what the world celebrates, but that doesn't mean it's not powerful. Some of you can speak in a way that moves hearts. Some of you can create in a way that changes lives. Some of you can lead, teach, heal, build, inspire. But you'll never know if you keep hiding. You'll never know if you keep silencing that voice inside you that keeps whispering, there's more in you. And don't think for a second that your gift is too small. There's no such thing as a small gift. The thing you take for granted, the thing that comes easy to you, that's your gift. You think it's nothing because it feels natural. But that's exactly why it's special. What feels effortless to you could feel impossible to someone else. But unlocking your gift doesn't just happen. It takes work. It takes discipline. It takes the courage to step out even when you're not sure. It means trying, failing, learning, growing. It means doing it scared, because your gift is like a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it gets. The more you hide it, the weaker it becomes. And I need you to hear this. Your gift is not for you. It's for someone else. Somebody out there needs what you carry. Somebody's breakthrough is connected to your obedience. Somebody's life will change because you decided to show up and give what you've been given. And if you don't, if you keep it locked up because of fear or insecurity, the world misses out. That's why this matters. Because the world doesn't need another copy. It needs you. The real you, the raw you, the version of you that isn't trying to fit into anyone else's mold. The version that knows, this is what I was created to do, and I'm going to do it even if nobody claps, even if nobody understands, even if I stand alone. So stop hiding. Stop waiting for permission. Stop telling yourself you're not ready. You've been ready. You just have to decide. You just have to unlock what's already inside ChatGPT said everybody loves motivation. We chase it. We wait for it. We think we can't move without it. We say, I'll start when I feel like it. But let me tell you something. Motivation is a liar. Motivation will get you started, but it won't keep you going. Because the truth is, you're not always going to feel like it. You're not always going to wake up inspired. You're not always going to have that fire in your chest. Some days you're going to feel tired. Some days you're going to feel empty. Some days everything in you will want to quit. And on those days, motivation will be nowhere to be found. That's why you can't build your life on feelings. You can't build your purpose on a mood. If you wait to feel ready, you'll waste your whole life waiting. You don't need motivation. You need discipline. Because discipline will do what motivation won't. Discipline shows up when motivation disappears. Discipline works when motivation runs out. Motivation is about emotion. Discipline is about decision. Motivation asks, do I feel like it today? Discipline says, I'm doing it whether I feel like it or not. And that's what separates the ones who dream from the ones who do. That's what separates the talkers from the finishers. You think people who achieve great things feel motivated every day? No. They've just mastered the art of showing up. They've trained themselves to move even when it hurts, to push even when it's uncomfortable, to stay consistent even when no one is watching, even when no one is clapping. Because they understand this: discipline beats talent, discipline beats luck, and discipline beats motivation every single time. If you're waiting for the perfect moment, stop. If you're waiting for everything to feel right, stop. If you're waiting for someone to push you, stop. The truth is, nobody is coming to save you. Nobody is coming to drag you out of bed. Nobody is going to hand you your dream on a silver platter. If you want it, you've got to get up and go get it. Even when you're tired, even when you're scared, even when you're broke. And listen, discipline is not glamorous. It's not flashy. It's not fun most of the time. It looks like early mornings and late nights. It looks like saying no to distractions. It looks like doing the hard thing over and over and over again until it becomes second nature. And that's why most people quit. They fall in love with the idea of the goal, but they don't fall in love with the grind. But let me tell you what happens when you choose discipline. You build a life that lasts. You build habits that hold you up when life tries to knock you down. You build strength that nobody can take away. You become unstoppable because you're no longer relying on feelings, you're relying on principles. And principles don't change with your emotions. So I want you to think about something. What would your life look like if you stopped waiting to feel ready and started showing up every day with discipline? How much further would you be right now if you didn't quit every time it got hard? How many dreams have you left behind because you let a bad day turn into a bad habit? This is your wake-up call. Stop chasing motivation like it's magic. It's not magic, it's a spark. But discipline, that's the fire. And the only way to keep the fire burning is to feed it daily with consistent action.